Okay, hi there team, it's Albie Costa here, and today it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to a person who's quickly becoming a friend of mine, and his name is Charles Scoville. Can you hear me okay there, Charles?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly, Albie.
Fantastic. Well, welcome to this video, Charles.
Thank you.
Now, just by way of introduction, I ran into Charles the first time probably about a year ago with one of the programs that we were looking at. And what impressed me when I met Charles for the first time was his great communication skills. He was always so happy to answer questions from members who were involved in his programs. Charles is the founder and the administration of a few different online programs, and he always impressed me with the fact that he was so quick with his communication. Was always came across as having a whole load of integrity, and just his great personal style and his interest in and his members and the interaction that he was having. And I guess I've been watching you fairly closely, Charles, especially over the last 6 weeks, because you've just launched a fairly new business. Do you want to tell us, number one, a little bit about yourself and your background, and also a little bit about what's happening?
Sure. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in Colorado, and I have a family. I have a mom and dad. They're still married. I've got two sisters and a brother, and just regular growing up, I guess. Went off to college, didn't know quite what I wanted to do with my life, as a lot of kids are,
Yeah.
exactly that same way. And kind of just took some generals. Really loved psychology, really loved learning about philosophy,
Yep.
and thought that maybe I might want to do something in those fields, until I started to realize I was going to probably have to be in school a good 10 years or so before I did anything in those fields.
Yep.
So I started to really explore what it is that I really wanted to do. And I started to delve into learning languages. So I thought, oh, I love learning Spanish. So I decided, hey, okay, I'm going to do something with Spanish. And then I was realizing that a lot of the Spanish jobs would be Spanish teaching. And here in the United States, teacher jobs, oh gosh, they start at $31,900. And I was making more than that at a call center doing customer service. So I thought, there's no way in the world that I'm going to go to school, go through all of that training, and not make enough to support my family. So like, that's not the direction I want to go. So I went into computer science.
Wow.
And that's where I really thought that's where I was going to be involved. I mean, I was so focused in this degree program I was in. It was a bachelor degree program. I was in it for quite some time. I was perfect 4.0 student. And it was crazy because at one point I was just finishing up a semester, and I asked myself the honest question: is this really what I want to do with my life? And I said, no, it just doesn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
So I withdrew, and I'll never forget the face of the person at the desk, because when I said I'd like to withdraw, they were like, "You're kidding me! You've got a 4.0. Are you sure?" Like, yeah, I really, yeah, I just don't want to. I just don't see myself really working in this field. And they said, well, we respect that. So I withdrew, and during all of this time, just to kind of give you a little bit more background, is for about 10 plus years, I was involved in customer service. And I was kind of working my way up, and just loved customer service, handling escalated calls, and building rapport with the customers. It just really felt great. I felt such a connection with that kind of a degree, or that kind of a career, but I wasn't able to be there for my son because I was going through a divorce, and I had custody of my son, and I found myself needing to leave work to be there with my son. And my employer was saying, hey, look, we love you, Charles. We want you, but if you're going to be leaving to go and take care of your son, then we can't have you around anymore. And so it really gave me this thought that I really need to figure out a way to make some income actually from home, because that would be the only way really to make it work as a single father. So that's really where I started to plug along into getting involved in multi-level marketing, affiliate marketing, struggling. And I mean, that just kind of goes along with where I'm at right now, is getting out there in marketing. And that's kind of just about me, as I'm a single father. My son right now, he's 7. He's going to be turning 8 in June 30th.
Yep.
And I'm just really excited. That's one of my biggest pleasures of my life, is being a dad. It really is.
No, it's a wonderful privilege to be a parent and a great responsibility. And I know from my own personal life, it teaches you to be very unselfish as well. You've always got someone else to think about. And thanks very much for sharing that. And it's also helped me to understand a little bit more about who you are, especially your experience with customer service. And I'm starting to understand now why you're so good at doing that.
Thanks.
So, Charles, recently you've just launched a business. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about what the business is, what the name of it is, and just a little bit about how you came to develop that business?
Sure. The development of AHP Profits kind of goes back a little bit of time. And it really kind of starts when I first started on the internet. Like I said just a moment ago, is I was really struggling at trying to figure out how to make money. And it was really, really hard for me, especially as a beginner, to finally make any kind of money. And the very first program that I got involved in required a lot of promoting, a lot of recruiting, and it was just so difficult to build a downline, but more especially because at that time, I didn't have a sponsor as supportive as you, Albie. I didn't have someone who really actually put together some training and try to get out some information. I went to my sponsor and said, hey, how do I do this? And he's just kind of like, you just do it.
I've actually heard that once or twice before from a few people, Charles.
So I really had to like go out of my own comfort zone to learn all of the information. And that's where I feel like with AHP Profits, I wanted to make something that was easy for new people, something that someone who's just getting started. Because I remember when I was first getting started, the hard question I was given was, how much have you made so far? And I remember trying to sponsor new people, telling them I haven't made anything yet, and they said, well, tell me when you do. And it's like, well, okay, I'll be in touch.
Yep.
And I never did very much in those types of programs. It was really rough. So with AHP Profits, what I really wanted to do is help it so that people could start making money, so that if they decide to refer, they can actually tell people, I've actually already started making money with this. And there's some actual real excitement that people can bring, because really what sales comes down to is a transfer of feeling. So if somebody can feel really good about what's going on, then they can feel good about telling it to other people, even people that they don't normally tell it to.
Yes.
So that's what I really wanted to develop with AHP Profits, is something that people could get involved with, something that is sustainable, and something that can truly change people's lives and get them out of their comfort zone, so that they can really start to make at least a little bit of income from home, and depending on the kind of drive they have, can make possibly a full-time income.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a wonderful project that you've got going. And look, I've been involved with you from day one with this project, and I know this is probably not typical, but I think I've made about a 700% profit just in the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is just,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so thank you. And that has led to this conversation. But I have just picked up on a couple of points you said there. And number one is, and this has been so many people's experience in this industry, they get involved with somebody. The sponsor takes the money, and that's a lot of the time the last time they hear from their sponsor. And it's a sad indictment on our industry that actually happens. And I think your reasons for developing what you've developed are so sound and really hit the target with a very wide audience, because of the experience that so many people have had in the whole internet marketing industry. Charles, could you just run through what AHP Profits actually does, and what is it as a business? What is your product? How does it work? And how do people actually earn money out of that business?
Absolutely. What AHP Profits is all about is advertising. It's selling advertising services. Now, within the industry of internet marketing, generally people are involved in 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, maybe even 15 different things. The great thing about AHP Profits is that you can be involved within a targeted community, people who are already involved and believe in internet marketing, instead of having to go and ask your family and friends and co-workers and people like that to get involved in your money-making opportunities. You can branch out to the internet, to people who are already involved already believe in this type of a way to make money from home. So with AHP Profits, what it is it's $45. And what that does is gives you a directory listing. It's a permanent directory listing, as well as 1,000 visitors to your website. So when you set up your advertisement, set up your listing, you're going to be entering in the name of the website or whatever it is, and then a description, and then the banner advertisement for it. And after you get that set up, you're going to start to see visitors coming from other members going to your website. And if they're interested, then of course they'll sign up. And so along with all of this, you're getting that permanent listing, 1,000 visitors. But if you want to think of a share, what that is, it basically is you're getting yourself a bucket that you're going to be filling up with cash. So how does your bucket fill up with cash?
Good question.
Each bucket that you get is actually splitting all of the profits from the site from other people who are purchasing these directory listings or the share purchases. There's also banner advertising on the site. That's 125 by 125. And then there's also 728 by 90 banner ads. And then the solo email advertisements that are going out to all of the members. We split all of the profits, all of the money that comes in for each of those purchases with everybody to fill up their buckets until their bucket has reached $56.25. So that's 125% that you're getting back. So it sounds like what you have been doing, Albie, is actually getting that money back and then putting that money back in, getting that money back and kind of building yourself up. And a lot of people are doing that. And whatever strategy that is, some people are putting all of it back in and purchasing more of these buckets or these shares to keep filling up more and more, or they're taking 50%, 20%, whatever it is, cashing out and putting up some payment proofs in places, getting their groups involved so they can see, wow, this is a place that really is paying. Not only are we splitting all of the profits from these particular items, we're also now offering a vacation where if somebody doesn't want to click their 10 ads daily, then they can go on vacation, and those profits from all of those sales are also split with everyone. So that kind of, I guess I didn't explain that just a minute ago, is each person that has these buckets, what got to do is now click 10 ads every single day. They qualify for their share for the day. As long as 10 ads have been clicked within the last 24 hours, you're going to receive a split, whatever that amount is, with all of the shares. Now I'm guessing you're going to be getting more into this a little bit later with some of your questions, but we split only the money that's coming in. So you're going to get all of the money that comes in from all of the purchases. And then, so again, that vacation mode is going to make it so that you don't have to click for a week. And I wouldn't probably recommend you purchase that unless you have more than 3 shares. Otherwise, it kind of cancels out your earnings.
Okay, fantastic. And so put really simply, from what I understand and from my experience over the last 4 or 5 weeks, is we're purchasing some advertising space on a website that has an enormous amount of traffic, because I've actually seen the Alexa ratings on your website.
Absolutely.
So there's a genuine opportunity to place an ad and to actually gain customers and build our list if we have a lead capture page, or to simply expose any business that we want to on there. And then what you're saying is then is that with the income that you receive from the payments that we make for the advertising, you're splitting that, is this right, 100% of the profits between all the active members? Is that correct?
That's correct. Every single sale that comes in through the system is split up among all the members.
So I'm just having a guess here, Charles, because you haven't shared this with me. If you're splitting 100%, that means that the only way you can make money is doing exactly what we're doing. Is that correct?
Right. And what I've actually done is I don't even have any shares. What I actually am mainly getting my income from is referral commissions.
Okay.
And because of my history online, I have quite a list, and I'm marketing, like you were mentioning, the Alexa ranking. It's a huge amount of traffic coming in. I've actually got quite a lot of signups coming in under me. So that's how I'm making my money, mainly from the site.
Okay.
As well as just a small percentage of every. Now there's some of these revenue shares, and I feel so frustrated by some of these owners where they'll take like 50% and they'll pocket 50%, and that's like, wow, no wonder why those programs don't last very long. The members aren't making hardly anything. You know, I have taken just a small itty-bitty percent, and I don't want to tell how much that is, mainly because I think I'm going to reduce it as time goes forward. as we get larger and larger. Because my main goal here with this is I live very frugally. I only need $3,000 a month to live on. And so as I exceed that, I can adjust that to kind of make sure that every member can kind of see some results. Because that's really what this is all about, is having a long-term business that everyone can really benefit from long-term.
Fantastic. And so just a quick comment there is that when you refer people, you get a 10% commission on everything that they spend. Is that correct?
That's right.
And when they go to repurchase these $45, let's just call it an ad pack for now, you receive 10% of that as well?
Absolutely. And the great thing about that is people, I've seen this, like there's this one woman who got involved at the very beginning.
Yep.
And she referred 200 people.
Wow.
And out of those 200 people, actually, so far, only one of them has actually done anything. And at first, she was really kind of feeling frustrated. She was feeling discouraged because only one referral. But then she started to notice that that one referral was purchasing 5 or 10 different ad packs, or maybe 20 or 30, and then repurchasing and repurchasing. And she's like, oh my gosh, she's now paying off her credit card debt off of just one referral. And that one referral is like, I'm never going to stop this because they keep earning. So that's one of the things that I really like about this program is when you refer someone, you can feel confident that they're going to be happy and they're going to repurchase because it's going to help them build up their income, but it's also building up yours as well.
Fantastic. I'm already seeing my account grow and grow and grow through that compounding effect, and just the couple of people that I've sponsored already, just starting to see some amazing residual income coming from that. So just so I get this 100% clear, because I already know that so many people who are going to be watching this, that one big horrible word always comes up with this in this industry is why isn't this a Ponzi? And it was my first question to you. You may remember.
Yes.
Can you number one tell me, is this a Ponzi? Just be straight up with me. Is this a Ponzi? And if it is or it isn't, can you explain why?
I really love this question, and it's absolutely not a Ponzi whatsoever. And to answer that question clearly, I want to define what a Ponzi really is. And it really is those programs out there that say we're going to pay you an X amount percentage daily. What they're doing is, sure, at first, as they're bringing in these payments, that amount that you're receiving on your account, or these numbers that they're placing on your balance, they're supported by the funds that they have available. But are they increasing their funds by that percentage daily? They're really not. And that's where we see these programs that as they get bigger and bigger, they have to keep trying to encourage their members to keep buying and buying more and more and more, because they're paying a percentage from new people paying. And that's one of the great things about Ad Hit Profits is we're not paying a percentage, is we're actually just splitting profits until you reach 125%. And that's where it's so much different, is we're not saying we're going to be paying 2% daily, or you're going to reach 125% in, and that's where it makes it legal and sustainable, is we're not trying to chase that percentage.
So it's a very traditional business model where if you're not making a profit, you're not paying out anything.
Right.
And from my experience, that 125% can happen within a few days, or if sales fall off, that could take weeks or even months. My experience so far has been I've had days where we've made 6% and days we've made 30% on our original amount of funds that we've put into that. So I've seen the peaks and the troughs, and even the troughs are pretty good, I might say.
There you go.
So it's very much a traditional business model where I want to make this 100% clear that you're paying people out of profits. You're not paying them from money that you're going to be receiving sometime in the future from a membership payment, which is what a Ponzi really is, isn't it?
Right, absolutely. That's exactly what a Ponzi is basically going in debt to your membership.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why some of these sites, they are now freezing up, they can't pay.
Yep.
And they might claim that various different reasons why they can't pay out, whether it's a hacker I mean, and who knows if they've really been hit
Oh,
by a
there's a
hacker.
whole list of excuses that we normally get, and I think there must be a list somewhere that they all use, because they always seem to go from number 1 to 20, and I keep thinking to myself every time I hear it, oh, we've actually heard that one before, you may have to come up with something new, but that list must be able to be purchased because they all seem to use that same list.
That's right. So we're actually, the amount of funds that you're getting on your account without hit profits are coming from actual funds that are coming in the system. And like what you were saying is, you're going to see in a long-term span of time, you're going to see it go up and down and up and down. And that's going to be general. I mean, even if you look at the stock market, any business out there in the world has their ups and downs from one day to another, from 1 month to another, from 1 year to another. And that's where I just say, I can't tell you how long it's going to take to reach the 125%, but you'll reach it as long as you keep clicking your 10 ads daily, or if you're on vacation or whatever, then you can at least see that you're going to reach that amount.
Yes.
There's no time limit, and that's where you can say this is going to be something that's going to be around today, tomorrow, and hopefully forever from my point of view, because like I said before, my main thing is I want to make sure that I have a sustainable work from home opportunity myself. If this doesn't work, then I got to scramble to find something else. So that's where I'm like, I want this to stay forever, please.
You've got your own, in Australia we say, you've got your own skin in the deal, right?
There you go. Yes.
Now the other thing I've noticed is we get paid reasonably regularly throughout the day. Can you just explain how often you pay and how the payment process works?
Well, it's something that I find a lot of fun doing, to be quite honest with you. I love sending out those commission payouts. And so because it brings me that excitement, I'll go back and check and refresh. And, oh, there's some payouts to send. I'll send them. And then I'll be handling support tickets or whatever. And then I'll just check and say, oh, there's some more. Yay. And I'll go send them out. And so, I mean, generally during the day, they're going to be sent pretty fast. There's some people that say, wow, I received this instantly. And no, it wasn't instant. It was manual. So if I'm asleep or away from my computer, then payouts are going to sit pending. And there's definitely been people that have been like, what's going on? The payment's been sitting pending for 2 hours. It's like, yeah, generally they're probably familiar with having it sent pretty fast, but I'm probably asleep because they're in a different time zone, or I'm just spending some time with my son because, I mean, I'm a dad and I love my boy. So I generally send them out pretty quickly throughout the day.
And my experience has been that too. And as far as receiving the profit, I've noticed that around about every half an hour, my account seems to be growing and growing and growing. How does that work?
Every single purchase that comes in the system gets dispersed each 30 minutes. So whatever happened between, let's say, 6:30 in the morning till 7 o'clock in the morning is going to be dispersed at 7 o'clock on the dot. And then at 7:30, it's going to be dispersed. Every 30 minutes, whatever sales come in are dispersed. And so I think that helps people, you know, refresh their screen, log back in, see what it is every 30 minutes.
And I have to admit, I have to admit, and this is a confession here, I've become a bit of an addict. I sit there waiting for that half hour because you have a clock on your site, and as soon as it hits the top of the hour or the bottom of the half hour, I'm sitting there with my dashboard button waiting to refresh. So that's just between you and me, okay? So half those hits on your site are coming from me.
That's so funny. I had one member actually tell me in the Skype group saying, Charles, I'm going to sue you because now I can't get sleep.
Oh, it's
because I have to keep waking up out of bed. I get out of bed to go check. I know.
Resistance is useless, my friend. Now, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here because I already know when we introduce this to people, we're going to get these questions anyway. So you might as well answer them. So in Australia, we say, get it straight from the horse's mouth. We've already confirmed it's not a Ponzi scheme, and you've told us exactly why it's not a Ponzi, and I'm very comfortable with that. Is this one of these HYIPs, high yield investment programs, otherwise called a hype? What's your answer to that, Charles?
It's absolutely not, and the main reason why is because, in my opinion, and I base this just based upon that definition that they're paying they're paying the percentages from new payments coming into the system. So a high yield investment plan is a Ponzi. So for just a straight answer, is this a high yield investment? No, it's not. And especially if you're looking at the 125%. Some people have said, oh, this isn't worth getting involved in. It's such a low yield. Like, well, you got to try it. Maybe you might think differently about the whole thing. But to me, the high yield investment plans, there's something that is probably going to be crashing probably within a couple of months. And if it's like a 1% daily, then maybe it might last a year.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, those are going to crash. They're going to eventually run out of cash because they're promising to pay people a percentage that is based upon their ability to keep up with those sales to pay whatever the payouts are every single day.
Yep.
So no, it's not a high yield investment plan at all.
Terrific. And look, when you say 125%, that's 100% obviously is the amount of money you put in. Then you're making 25% on top of that. So in net,
Right.
that's a 25%. I call that a profit. Now, in Australia at the moment, if we have a term deposit with our bank, we're making the princely sum of about 6% per annum. So just to put it into perspective, it would have to sit in my bank for 4 years to achieve the same result as sitting in your program. At the moment, I'm seeing my money returned within a week. As we both said, we can't guarantee, if that will continue, or it may get better, depending on how many people choose to advertise. But that brings me on to the next question, Charles, and that is this business infinitely sustainable?
I truly believe that it is, and the main reason why I believe that is because advertising services are in such a high demand among leaders and program owners, depending on whatever it is that they're promoting. And I've got advertising out in a lot of targeted areas to bring in that type of an advertiser, where they're seeing, wow, there's some actual results here. So if you're looking at the website, every single advertisement that you see on the website, except for the directory, those directories are coming from other ad share purchasers. But every other advertisement is actually coming from an advertiser. And as these advertisers are testing out the results, I'm having one advertiser going out, they're telling it to the world, and I couldn't believe the kind of results that they were telling people. And they were getting so many clicks in an hour, and I was like, wow, really? And it makes sense because like what we were looking at before with the Alexa traffic ranking, when you're having that many visitors, and right now I think it was something like 470,000 page views on the public areas per day on average. That is huge amount of people. So if you've got your banner ads on this site, you're definitely getting eyeballs to view your banners. And so a lot of people are really starting to spread the word saying, wow, this is great. So if people are buying these advertisements, we're splitting all of those profits. So I think that the bigger that we get, the more we're going to attract those advertisers that need to get their offer out in front of our people. Yeah, that's my belief.
Yeah, fantastic. So we've got a product here where we can advertise our business, which means that we can make an external revenue out of some of the other opportunities that many of us are involved in, and we get paid each day out of the profits that you make until we reach 125% of the original amount that we paid for the advertising. So we're making an income there. We get paid every 30 minutes. We've got the option of compounding. As we receive every 30 minutes our share of the profit pool, we can repurchase more advertising, which means we're in effect compounding, which is, as you know, Einstein said that's one of the great wonders of the world is compound interest. And it's the way that most people become mega wealthy is through compounding, through leverage. And also we get the opportunity, and you and I both know that when we're excited about something, you can't help but tell people. We've got the opportunity of making 10% of every single purchase, including their compounding. And I already know that's building up in my business, and then I'm turning that back into the advertising, so I'm actually getting more leverage again. Mate, that's an incredible business, and it's sustainable. It has a traditional business model where you're paying people out of your profits. You're not promising them a certain percentage per day. You're saying, I will give you 125%, but how long that takes is how long's a piece of string. That as long as the profits are coming in, I will keep paying you. And look, I think you've done a marvelous job, and I really, really have looked over this myself very carefully over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and I will we've had a lot of, over the last 12 months, Charles, we've got involved and we've taken our team into quite a few programs, which I'm really sad to say have fallen over. And if I was honest with you, I'd have to say that our credibility has taken quite a hiding over that time. And so, as you can imagine, we're very, very gun shy about where we take our team, because like you, we want the very best for our guys, and we want to see them successful, because if they're successful, we're successful. And when a business falls over, our business falls over as well. And so I hope you don't mind me asking you all those tough questions, but
I appreciate it.
You will fully understand that we just want businesses with integrity. We want businesses with great leadership, and so far I have to say my experience with you and anything you've done has been that way, and I'm very pleased about that. But I guess my last question to you before we sign off, because we're just heading up to 30 minutes now, is what's your plan for the future of this business, Charles? Where do you see it going? If it would appear that you've got all the ingredients for a business that is infinitely sustainable, because it's a product that people will always require on the internet, and that's traffic. But where do you want to take this thing? What's your vision?
My vision with this, and this is something that I am getting very close to releasing, is we're going to stand out as not allowing any advertisement on our website that has stopped paying and that people are waiting for payouts. And I think that what that's going to do is make it so that people who are advertising on our website will then be raised to a whole new standard. And what I really want to start becoming is someone who people can kind of look towards as a lighthouse or a beacon, saying, if something's advertised there, then I know it's trusted, and they'll want to click on those links. And so it'll add extra value to our advertisers,
yes,
and add extra value to our services in general, as people just start to become more involved in the community. The way I look at it is there's a lot of different moneymaker group forums or monitor sites. If you're involved in those high yield investment plans, you might be familiar with them. They sell advertising
unfortunately,
at a pretty high rate. And so what my goal is with this is to gain on these advertisers that are paying these high amounts, and instead of having those go towards these forum website owners, go ahead and disperse that with everybody. And so that's what my vision is with this, and that's what makes it indefinitely sustainable. We were talking just the other night about sustainable, and to me what sustainable means is that the business expenses are completely covered within the business gross increases.
Yes.
And so if you've got that set up, and that's where the other kinds of businesses, they'll put money on people's accounts that they don't have actually coming in to cover. And so that's what I really think about with this business, is the more that we just are remaining sustainable, I believe that more and more people will see their own programs that they're involved in crash and still see us standing.
Fantastic.
And so I think that this will start to become kind of a, wow, this is where everyone's going. This is where everyone's getting paid. And this is, and with that kind of an attraction, I really believe that we can start to increase the pricing on advertising and really start to see greater profits being shared, so that people can continually see good returns.
Yep.
And daily consistent earnings going towards their account. And
I think you've touched on something that's vitally important, and something that, as you know, my two business partners, Scott Caporal and Lawrence Harsbrook, this is something that we talk about all the time, particularly in light of our bad experiences last year with a few businesses we're involved in, is what value is a business bringing to the consumer. And of course, with your advertising platform, is they get genuine exposure, and they've got a genuine they're getting genuine eyeballs there, and they're getting a genuinely good product, and so your value that you're building into the business, it's so vitally important for that long-term sustainability, and it's something that I believe you're doing really, really well. And do you have any plans to sort of spruce up the website and all those things? Is it a continually evolving thing, Charles?
Oh, absolutely. Just like the vacation mode just being added recently.
Yeah,
that's
a beauty, that one.
That I've got back in my mind that are saying, how else can I add value to the membership, and what other innovation can I bring? Because I know that throughout time we're going to have copycats.
Yep.
And so what I got to do is I got to first of all stay ahead of them, and I also want to make sure that whatever it is that I'm doing is what I'm doing, and I don't even have to worry about anyone copying me, because they might be able to copy me really well, but they don't have the drive, the passion, and the ingenuity to come up with all of these new innovative ideas that can be poured into this business. And I don't know what else is going to come in the future, but I do have a few ideas kind of going around inside of my mind. And
I'm sure you do.
We'll start to see some of those kind of come out here in the next little while.
I can hear the cogs turning from here. Hey, Charles, I just want to thank you so much just for making yourself number one available. I've been watching you closely in the Skype room there, and I don't know when you're sleeping, because you seem to be answering people's question within seconds, and certainly you've always been available to me to have a chat. So thanks so much. I just want to thank you for your integrity, and also just putting together such a wonderful program. I know just from following you for the last 12 months, you haven't always had it easy, and things haven't always gone your way, but you're still here, which is really important for people to know. You haven't run away when things haven't gone to plan. You're still here, and you've always communicated very well with people, and I think it's a wonderful testimony to you as a person. And would you
like me to touch on that just a little bit, kind of give a little bit of background with that?
Yes, absolutely.
I would love to, especially since I know that there's going to be a number of people that might even Google me and see a lot of really good things about me, and then probably say, oh wait, did that happen for real? Yep. So let me go ahead and just go back and cover all of that, because it does go into my history and who I am. And I really believe that it does show, like what you're saying about my integrity and who it is that I really am at my core, who I am as a person. I'm an owner of 6 pay-to-click websites that have all been online for nearly 3 years now. So if that goes to show what kind of a goal and long-term plan I have with that to hit profits, I'm not here today, gone tomorrow, like some of these others.
Yep.
I'm here for as far as I'm concerned. With my pay-to-click websites, I launched my first one in April of 2010. So this was just barely reached just over its 3-year mark. What happened in May of 2011 is my network of pay-to-click websites lost PayPal, which was caused by a large number of chargebacks, which were actually caused by a large number of fraudulent payments that were received from Vietnamese members who were using PayPal accounts to make large amount of purchases on my site. And so as we were paying out, they were collecting their commissions and getting cashed out, and then there was a chargeback, and so I lost all that money. But I still had a huge balance in my PayPal, so it wasn't hurting my business. It was just something I was kind of having to write off as a write-off, a business expense. But PayPal, they didn't like it. They were saying that since I had a greater than 1% chargeback rating, then they permanently froze up my account. Now, anyone who's involved in the pay-to-click industry knows that, generally speaking, when a pay-to-click website loses PayPal, the site goes down. Like PTC Box, for example. They lost PayPal, and instantly they were gone. They're gone. You don't ever hear of them anymore. I remained online and instantly paying for over 6 months after that. The problem that I bumped into was, if anyone remembers this, back in 2011, in October 6th, PayPal, or PAYZA, back then was called AlertPay, they lost their credit card processing. So when so now I had no longer any PayPal, and then I didn't have AlertPay, so I was pretty much a ship without any cash flow on the internet. And so I was paying out, and they kept telling me, we're going to have everything restored within 1 to 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks.
I remember all this. I went through it too, yeah.
And I was so frustrated. And so by the time it was just before Christmas, it was about December 20th, I was really starting to feel like, uh-oh, I got to really make some changes in my business model here, because I don't have the funds coming in like I used to. And not only that, but I had a whole bunch of other opportunities I was involved in, sponsoring people through my pay-to-click websites, that they also were AlertPay based programs, and they were also crashing. My downline was shriveling up, so pretty much all of my online income was disappearing within a matter of months, and it was a really tough time. So throughout that time, there were some delays with payouts coming from my pay-to-click websites. So from December until March, people were waiting 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get their payouts, but they were still getting them. But throughout the forums, because people were waiting and being delayed,
Yes.
there's a lot of complaints, people dissatisfied with having to wait. But people were still getting paid. But unfortunately, as people weren't clicking or participating on my website, they were canceling their service, things like that, complaining and complaining. So there's some of that that's still out there on the internet, because some of those forums, they keep their information online forever.
It's
so people that might Google me or something, they'll see that. But by March, everything was caught up.
Yep.
Throughout the forums, people were seeing that I was paying out, so they rushed back to get their payouts. I was a little bit delayed until June. I've been caught up completely since June of 2012. So nearly a year, I've been completely caught up without any problems whatsoever. But still, sometimes people bump into, oh, you're owner of these pay-to-click websites. Well, yes, but the great thing about my character is I didn't close up shop. I didn't disappear. I could have decided to close down my sites, but instead, I went ahead and caught up with everybody and made sure that now everything is paid up to today. Every single site is completely paid up to every single member, and with the plan that it is, a whole lot more. I mean, it's very stable and self-sustained, so I don't even have to really worry about those payments ever delaying ever again. So that's the great thing about those sites. And a little bit more insight about my integrity and my history online is I'm not going to disappear. I've been online with those sites for over 3 years. And that's the kind of person I am with AdHit Profits. I'm here to stay.
Fantastic. And look, you didn't have to explain yourself, because I've actually questioned you about those things before. But thank you so much for addressing those issues. Look, if you Googled my name, you're going to come up with some similar things because of when programs shut down, we're automatically the targets, for people to blame. And look, it's just the price you pay for being a leader in this industry. You make yourself very vulnerable. But I think people also recognize the fact that you're still around, still approachable and available, and communicating is a great sign of who you are as a person. And certainly that's been our experience with our guys in our business. If we've been involved in something and it's fallen over, they need to know that we're still there. And in reality, what a small-minded person thinks of a stumbling block, the winner thinks of as a stepping stone. And you've just gone through a lot of stepping stones, like we all have in this industry, and it's a tough industry technologically speaking. If we've been involved for more than a year, we'll all know about these payment processes and the pain that they can cause us. I'm going through it even right now with PAYZA, not being able to put money into our debit cards, and there's always something that comes up. But I remember a great saying, Charles: a quitter never wins, but a winner never quits. And we're still here, and and normally the spoils go to the people who stick it out. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome.
I don't know what time it is over. I know it's very late at night, but I appreciate your time, and I'm hoping that we've covered most of the questions that most people will have. I certainly feel very, very comfortable. As you know, I've put quite a lot of money into AdHit's profit now, and that's how comfortable I feel. So I've got my own skin in the deal now, and I'm about to promote it through to the rest of my group as well. So Charles, thank you so much. We'll be looking forward to inviting you into our own private Skype chat room for our team as well, and exposing people to you there, and looking forward to a great future together.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your time as well, and thank you for this opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much, Charles. I hope you get some sleep tonight, and we'll be chatting to you tomorrow, no doubt.
All right. Thanks again, Albie.
All right.
Take care.
See you, mate. Bye-bye.